All right, so selection's over. How do we feel?
I'm at a 10. My feet are at about a 1.
Your knee's at about a -10.
He's about -10.
I'll admit, y'all kicked my you know what in. That's it is what it is. I mean,
We kicked your what? Don't hold back.
Oh, you kicked my dick in. Definitely kicked my dick in. And I guess I'm a glutton for punishment, man. It's just one of those things between my feet, my hip flexors, my core, my shoulders. Like, Lord.
Okay, so let's start here then. You're a glutton for punishment, but this is how many times have you tried this event?
This is my third time.
Third time?
And I always tell people this is my jam. Like, this isn't. Like, people are afraid to sign up for this. I'm like, no, this is what you want to sign up for.
So, are you going to come back and do it again?
You're gonna make a gap on it, so it's gonna give me a little time to think about it.
I mean, if we ever do it again,
yeah,
it is, right?
I always notice that. I was like, now I know why finishers don't come back and do this again. But it puts a lot of pressure on you to come back and do it.
So, first time, third time, fourth time.
Yeah.
Well, first off, Rich, how proud are we of these guys?
Oh, immensely proud. They have reached down inside each one of them and found their why. This is about knowing yourself. That's what it's all about. Every selection, be it a military selection, wherever it might be, particularly for this selection, it's about learning about yourself. That those limits that you put on yourself in the past don't exist anymore. Because each one of you looked inside and surpassed the limits that you put on yourselves. There is no question in my mind. I watched each one of you do it, and it was great to see.
Well, let me flip that and say, if it wasn't for you guys and the whole staff, cadre, pushing us to do it, we would never know what those limits were.
What we did out here, the way we crushed ourselves and did the things, the world's not acceptable accepting that kind of stuff. They don't, why are you doing that? That's dumb, And you openly give us an outlet for it. So that's what I've always wanted to thank you for.
Yeah, I'm a veteran, 8 years in the 82nd Airborne, Ranger School, Sniper School, Reconnaissance and Surveillance School. Loved my time in the military. Separated to start a family. Did that with my beautiful wife.
That's a hard choice.
It was, it hit that second enlistment. You're at 8 years. You're going to 12 because if you go to 12, you're probably going to 20. So you get to the end, and it was like, you know what? I'm gonna make a move and not put a family through the deployments that I've been through, and so made that choice. Moved to Denver. Met my wife like the week I got there, and it was done. But also with that, I separated cold turkey 100% from all the training, from all the things that I had done for years and years and loved and got great at, and the rucking and the running and the trail runs and all the military type training. It just stopped, and slowly I started to develop this kind of a void where I was great at it. It's all I did. It was like, how can I be better at being a soldier? And then it's just gone. And then I stumbled on GoRuck through our CrossFit gym, trying to get our members excited, and was like, what is this thing? What is this selection thing? And saw it in February and was like, done.
Oh, this is your first event?
Yeah, first event.
God, you went full retard to it, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
First event, 1 for 1, the toughest endurance event on the planet.
When people tell me that, I think it's funny because like him and I have been around this while. We understand the cadre. We understand the fuck games. We understand just the atmosphere. And I've done a shit ton of events, challenging heavies and lights, and so I recognize what that is. And so when I show up to selection, I kind of already know what I'm about to. I don't have virgin eyes to it. And you being in the military,
So Ranger School.
Yeah.
I mean, Ranger School is one of the schools that this is.
Kind of.
I mean, you recognize the games.
Oh yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
I mean, nothing's ever good enough. You're always last.
They're always looking for
any
zipper,
sign of
a zipper open. Everything's coming out. Like, it's attention to detail. It's tie downs. It's all that stuff that you're perfect or you're worthless.
You come back to your ruck and it's thrown everywhere.
You're like, yeah. Probably start paying more attention to things. But yeah, so I found the GoRuck selection and started training. Started training and kind of just wrote my own program.
Did you watch a YouTube video?
I did watch the YouTube video. Yeah. I saw that from one of the past finishers, and I was like, I I can do that. How hard could it be? And just started training my butt off, and all physical. I didn't take the time to learn about the other kind of the other steps in the process of how to be better at, planning and setting up. And I hate myself because I was like, man, I prided myself in being this great soldier that I should have ran through my gear more. And I got here and just got steamrolled. I'm losing things.
That's something you throw out at people. Like, who here didn't practice, dumping your ruck 100 times? And he in his head's probably going, yeah.
You're right. So that's what you do. You start and you just start torquing. You start validating what people now think they should have done, and it works. So taking this up a notch, though, we've had a single finisher for a while now.
Yeah.
And this was different. And I mean, that feels pretty good, right? I mean, it's nice to see the bar raised for more people, because from our perspective, we're very happy to have multiple finishers. It's great, right? From your perspective, I mean, how is it like to share this experience? I mean, you guys did something, the only word that comes to mind is intimate. Very difficult, but very intimate together for a very long time.
Yeah, one of the biggest parts of it was not talking, is working together and against each other at the same time, but pushing each other to be better. Like the fartlek runs, like at first it was sloppy, and then all of a sudden it was like, you know what, let's clean this up. All three of us, it started rotating faster, and we started getting in a groove, and we started kind of like meshing more, and it was like,
So how much talking or non-verbal communication do you guys sort of sneak in when the cadre aren't?
Jones and I, a few times, we look back, because we're friends. But like maybe twice, 3 times, 48 hours.
So you guys trained together too?
We went and hung out. We did the incline, like you said, 3 times.
Yeah.
4 times.
He came over for a weekend and we hung out. But
I've never met either of these guys. And
Yeah.
I would walk by and just say, good work, keep it up. Like
Did you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was hitting up a few people. Like I could tell people needed a pep talk. I'm also that way, for other events that I work and everything, that you kind of give that pep talk, because me personally, there was maybe a little selfish aspect of this event. I noticed the last 2 times I finished, it was just me and one other guy left. And like I said before, there's a first place, a second place is loser. And I'm like, I need more people here at 24 hours for me to be successful at this event. I need more eyes. Not that I'm great, man. I just need more eyes on other people. So when I saw at 24 hours the amount of people we had left, I was like, yeah, sweet Jesus. And then when people started going away, the only adverse thing to which I never envisioned, because there was 3 of us, now you're making us do tunnel of love, and you're almost pitting each other against it. When it's one person, I've never been that sole finisher, so I don't know the dynamic of interacting with the solo individual. But I saw the way you were interacting with all 3 of us. I'm like, oh, fuck, man. Maybe this backfired on me. Maybe I shouldn't have wanted 3 people here right now.
I just want to say there's no other 2 guys I'd rather do tunnel of love with. Like we just ironed
It was an awesome 3-way you guys had going.
It was,
you know?
It was smooth, it was great.
really? Because I feel like my bridge wasn't big enough.
No, you were great. Don't do that.
I was on my toes.
Don't talk yourself down. You were fantastic.
Yeah, I saw you, your little nub arms trying to get the sandbag, sinking down on top of your head. It's very unfair, right? But it's so unfair, it's fair. Like, get the rucksack all the way up. And, like, to do that, you would have to make your arms even wider.
It's just touching my
48.
hand.
That's not, right?
Yeah.
So what was the low point?
All the low crawling, probably. The low crawling.
Yeah, but that's just a physical
Low
act,
point.
like mentally. Or what? How much
Low
mental?
point-
How much
okay,
physical?
Low point, the long walk, the getting on the beach while it was still dark, and the lack of sleep and the hallucinations. And I would stop, and I'd snap out of it and be facing the wrong direction. And I was like, did I just fall asleep? Like, where am I right now? And it was just over. And every 10 seconds I was hallucinating. And I was like, where am I? Like, this is crazy. Is this gonna keep going? Like that was by far the worst. Where it was like I'm seeing things here. I'm seeing boats. I'm seeing it was next. It was like I was on some real crazy drugs.
So you're just waiting for a cadre to pop out and be like, yes, there's my point.
Yeah.
There was just an endless beach to journey to that we had no clue where we're going.
I was watching this guy. He doing the same when I wasn't losing my mind. I was watching him, and he was like turning around and stopping.
I think he does that normally.
Yeah, I was sleeping. I was sleepwalking on purpose until I stepped off. But back on your question about the lowest point, for me, I have, and this is personal advice I give to other people, is you're always going to get that voice in your head saying that's going to talk down like, man, you're not ready for this. There's that little voice, and you guys are really good at this event of amplifying that voice in the individual's head. I tell people, I was like, that voice is going to come. Recognize that it's going to come, and when it does come, acknowledge it, note it, and then move on from it. Like, it happened. You know it's gonna. It's like kind of when you get tired. Like, I get tired at 1.5 miles. I get tired. I just get tired of that. I don't know about 1.5 miles. I get tired, but I can push on further. I know at a certain point that voice in my head is going to pop up. And what my lowest point during this race was, I did notice it. I squashed it. And then that voice popped up again later on. And I'm like, motherfucker, dude, I already got rid of you. I got rid of you back at the push-ups when I thought I failed, you know? Why are you popping back up now on a sandbag throw? And then later on, I'm doing bear crawls. That voice popped in my head again. And I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up, man. So it was one of those things that I was getting frustrated with my own head, but almost like that was a low point that I couldn't shut that voice up in my head. But I started using it as fuel. Like, all right, this fucker's going to be with me for 48 hours now. All right, let's roll with this now, And that's the way that was a low point for me that, my brain.
Was there one point where you were closest to, I've had enough?
All the stuff was bad, And anytime you were putting us through the sand and the seashells and grinding on our, crotches and chest and the back and.
I wasn't grinding on any of that. The seashell. Let's be clear here.
Yeah.
Let's choose our words carefully.
So I mean, during the shark attack at the end when you were dumping sand on me, that really wasn't bad to me. But it was like doing the act of like low crawling through that crushed shale, because I've had some past selection finishers tell me about that crushed shale that you have here. It's like that just bad stuff.
Yeah, for me it was that actual welcome party. I think it was on the second bear crawl loop around. Mocha came up to me and he said, "You ready to quit?" And I said, "I'm pretty freaking close." I told him because it was there, and there was that constant, I heard your voice, I heard other people's voices, I heard, Mike Durkin's voice, teammate for
you guys were on team assessment.
So I hear all these voices in my head of why I shouldn't do it, and they're the ones that pushed it out. Because for me, I was trying to figure out the excuse I was going to tell the nearest cadre. It was like, oh, I don't feel good, or I'm dizzy, I'm dehydrated, whatever. I'm running through all these emotions and excuses that I want to recreate.
So you got specific in your brain.
I was ready to stand up, and I was ready to just take off my patch and give it to Ricky, or I was gonna come to you and just be like, I don't feel good, and just do the simple bullshit that I've done in the past. And I was like, no, this is it. Like I told you 100%. I've told other people 100%, and I really committed to this training for so long.
But training is no stranger to you. You've done lots of miles. You've done lots of push-ups. You've done lots of weighted heavy rucks. I mean, I'm still marvel at your 45-pound, 2-hour, 45-minute. 3:45 marathon time.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, physically was never going to be your problem.
Thanks, Mark motherfucking Jones, man.
It was. So what was it though specifically? What was it this time that allowed you to go like this?
I think it was more of the necessity that I was reading through my mind that you needed to just get rid of people to have a certain number to move on. And I was just like, well, I'll make it easy for him. That's kind of where I was. I don't feel good, I'm achy, blah, 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 all these stupid bullshit excuses. And I just thought about the easy way at one point, And
So how did you quell it? Like what? How did you?
Because I promised my partner, because he couldn't be here. I said, I'm going to do it for you. I promised Cassie, a good friend of mine who has battled cancer several times, for all the support you've given me this year and in the past. But I had your little placard. I sent you the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do it
Times
3
three,
times. Now it's
This mother-
4, but
I thought to myself, this motherfucker Jason. I said, all right.
it doesn't take much.
It's game time. Well, it's the same thing. Like I said, you give me an outlet, and it goes with it. It can go be in several different subjects. With people around the planet, with what they do, their job, their career, their spiritual life. But for me, I know I got something in me that just wants to just thrive and just move and go. Like last year, very specifically, I told myself, I want this patch, but it's not worth waking up in the hospital, like getting wrapped up like AJ, So I made that was that one thing locked in my head. It's not worth waking up in the hospital. And you remember it was hot as hell, humidity. We had the fire truck out there spraying people down. You had a few participants taken to the hospital. And I told myself they were still not even at a depleted level yet. That's the very beginning of the event, and they're being taken to the hospital. So when I got to the point in the event, and I was still peeing yellow, I was feeling lightheaded, and I med dropped. I told myself, I'm not going to wake up in a hospital like it. This year was a little bit different. I fully recognize I'm 40 years old. I have no wife. I have no kids, no mortgage. I have nothing really holding me back. I'm like, not like I have a death wish or anything. It's one of those things like, really, dude, what's holding you back? You're going to go home to an empty bed. What's really holding you back in life right now? There's literally nothing. That's what everyone's going to say. I didn't quit this event because literally every time I wanted to quit, I knew if I quit, I'm going to go back to my job and just be a normal guy again. No, I want to get this done. So I told myself with this one, I told myself it was either waking up in the hospital or getting this patch. And that's what people asked me like this during this event, why I kept on pushing. And that's why it was. You were either gonna X out my patch and pull me from the event. I was gonna wake up in the hospital, or I was gonna get it. And I already locked that in my head.
Well, I've got a new low that I just remembered. You had 3 big tractor tires.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm
And
so glad we did.
I was gonna eat those things fucking alive.
Mhm.
I was gonna run the gauntlet. I love flipping tires. When I saw them, I was like, oh yeah, Daddy's gonna get some rest.
I'm glad we didn't
Because
get
I'm gonna fucking own these things. And they never came off the trailer.
I'm
I
surprised.
was
They were off the
bummed.
trailer.
Oh, that's
They were
right. Yeah,
sitting
they
in
were
the
stacked there. They were
And
stacked
then,
there.
we
We never used them. Oh,
No,
I
I was
was gonna
happy
eat
to do
those
that
things
too.
alive.
So what was the ending like?
I was stoked. Like the last year, I know Ragnar had, and Mocha had said like, hey, people have gotten too lax with selection. Know how it is. They know they're gonna have their PT test. They know they're gonna have their welcome party. They know they're gonna get their shit kicked in for a few, tasks. Then there's gonna be a long walk at the end. Then you're gonna get shark attack. It got very formalized. Everybody do that. Just have to make it through these tasks. And then like with last year, it wasn't like that. I mean, I didn't make it past 21st, but you gave the long walk really early to Doug, and then you threw a sandbag on top of that. And then with this year, I knew there was gonna be some twist in it. But he got to a point when they gave us a peanut butter and jelly and we were getting ready, and he was like, "What do you think we're gonna do?" I said, "We're gonna do the long walk next. I bet you." Because they were cleaning up the site. I saw they were cleaning up the site to boogie out of there.
Mhm.
And so when we took us out to the beach, I was like, all right, we're doing the long walk. This is it. And so then when the long walk was over, and I kept on waiting.
With 20.2 in the middle.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
was great. I didn't expect that.
Which was good. That was a good change.
Love
That was a good
that.
change.
Love that.
We did actually modify the end because of your knee. Like the lucky, unlucky about that, obviously it's unlucky, but the lucky part is, that happened at the 47th and a half hour. That happens.
Of all the time we went in and out of the ocean, like that's the one swell and us running in there that like if that would have happened at any other time we were running in and out of the lake or on a stone or on a mud little pile, like
You're done.
yeah.
You couldn't go a mile. It would have taken two hours. You wouldn't have quit, but it's stupid at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So the end though, and when it's over, what do you think of?
It's very
What's the-
surreal. Like I've watched so many videos. I've been around for 2 of them and watched the ending of it, and you have this weird sense of being on the other side, watching the other individual. And now, but I don't know what that individual truly feels like. I only got to the halfway point. They progressed all the way the full time. So now it's very surreal to be like this moment in time. Like, no, this is my time. This is my time. This belongs to me. I'm on that side of the flag now. So it's a selfish moment, and I wanted it.
I think that's okay, right?
Yeah, that's
I
why
could-
we're here.
I couldn't believe how everyone is just wanting to come up and congratulate you. Anyone who's ever done one of the events for GoRuck, and I am the biggest amateur. Obviously, this is my first event, but it's
It's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
You retired the champion.
a shot for the stars.
Yeah.
But I'm
One
sitting
done.
out back,
One
and
and
people are
done.
coming up to me in my chair, getting my knee wrapped, wanting to like talk to me about the event, and I'm just like, is this real?
Yeah.
Is this real life?
Yeah.
People, you guys, this is that
I just want to
that
see
tight knit of a community where it means that much to you to have someone finish selection. I was like, this is amazing.
Initially, I came for happiness and not a clue what I was getting myself into. And I just remember on that beach, he was there. He threw a glow stick, and you're like, "Go get it!" And I felt like a dog, and I just got through a divorce, and she took the dog, so it just brought me back to that, and like that's what did
Don't
it.
take a man's dog.
And then what
right?
you say right away, you're like, "What happened?" Like you were, and I was like,
Don't call me a bitch and throw my glow stick.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's the little things like that that just connected with my life. That was my failure the first time. Second med, and third, and I was about to have a son. So they're all excuses, and I didn't want to have one for this. So
There is no what if like this. Like this is our jam. This is what we come for. We come to do this. It's like I said, it's like climbing Mount Everest in the climbing community. It's like this is our jam for us, what we do in this community and for what we do. Some people are good at baseball. Some people are good at basketball.
You're good at pain.
I guess I'm good at suffering in a way.
and that's the
Suffering.
thing to go back on your point is that with this being live, like you are an athlete and people pay to watch athletes, right? So having a free live feed, we got to give them the best show possible. So I said, especially with that going on, there's no fucking way.
I definitely got to be Mark fucking Jones.
I can't perform for these people, It's like, oh, single unders or double unders. So I'm going to do double unders because I'm happy to be in a freaking CrossFit gym,
Fuck no, dude.
having some music going, and like back to civilization for 20 minutes.
He's like, I haven't jumped rope since high school.
I was like, can I get some help how to do this? I'm just hitting my feet with it.
I felt like those 3 movements warmed me up for what was coming next.
Yeah,
It was
you
like a warm-up.
So what's the sort of look? Everyone gets hit differently. What's the sort of takeaway or from your training? What would you have done different? Maybe briefly. Obviously, there's a volume of training and
Yes.
sacrifice, but any regrets? Anything you wish you'd done more of?
For me personally, I noticed at the end, like the final month, I wasn't doing as many push-ups and sit-ups as I used to have been doing up to it. And I think that really affected me. I was just blasting them out for months. And then I got to the month before and I was like, I don't need to really do them. I'm good. And then I got in the hotel room. I blasted out 70. And then I think Cody graded me. It was so funny. I walked up to Cody and Cody remembers me for first selection. And he goes, you do know roster 08, I'm the worst person to grade you for push-ups. I'm like, yes, sir, I do. But I got 56. I got one. I barely got one over because he's just a tough grader. And then I just wasn't performing at the level. So I would definitely ramp whatever my training is for the year. I wouldn't try to tweak it out at the end. Like if I'm doing something, I'm just going to stick with it all year and roll with it.
I did mostly CrossFit, CrossFit gym. I love CrossFit. I sprinkled in 1 ruck day a week and 1 interval run and 1 distance run. So I was doing 3 additional days: ruck, interval sprints, and distance run, and just CrossFit. And
How much CrossFit?
5 days a week.
He was crushing everything out there. So what he was doing was working.
I felt,
Whatever, man.
I felt physically.
Always in the front. He was always doing the fucking movement. I'm like,
Oh,
I'm watching.
don't
I
be
watched you throw the
dramatic.
he threw the sandbag and it went through 10 feet. I'm like, motherfucking cocksucker.
Yeah, it was
He
too
goes,
much.
he throws it and it goes from here to over to the brick wall. I'm like, how's he doing? I'm like, and it falls right here. I'm like, all right, this is how I'm rolling.
You know just what to say. I do a lot of thrusters. It's CrossFit.
Do you train bear crawls? Could you bear crawl like a bear? You just
I
gone,
do.
dude.
I do love me a bear crawl.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
We'll do bear crawls, but I'll drag a sled.
See,
So I would hook a sled to a belt.
That's
and
what
do
Patrick
bear
used to
crawls
do.
with a sled and do reverse
More
bear
bear
crawls
crawls.
with a sled.
bear crawls with a
And it's
sandbag.
like your shoulders, they're bulletproof after doing
That's
the
in your
reverse.
15-minute workout that you do once a day.
That's
to
like
train
an
for this?
accessory work. Like,
Oh, there's
warm-up
accessory
to, like,
work. I see.
It's all like a 60-minute session.
Yeah.
It's all for good reason.
Yeah.
He finished selection, dude. That's all that matters. He finished selection on his first fucking event.
Yeah.
This shit was hard, man. I'm stoked seeing all the new cadre you brought in because
Yeah.
I looked at my first selection and second selection I failed at, and I noticed both times I quit to cadre that I'm buddies with, that I feel like safe with, so to speak. The first time was with Big Daddy and JC, and I noticed this year when I saw these new faces, other than Cody, I was like, Cody'd be the only one, but he's a Navy SEAL. He's never going to give me that sympathetic feeling that like Big Daddy or JC would give me, or Joel would give me in his look, you know? So I was really stoked about that.
There's a lot of psychology that goes into this.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah. Because I mean, that's just me. That's just the way, because I'm very psychological like that. And I look at those things and then I look back on them like, man, I don't quit for these people, but I do quit for those people. You know, it was bad for me. I had a shitty flight with a 2-hour delay. I got in here late. I got a ghetto ass rental car. This guy smiles and he gets himself like an upgrade, a convertible like Mustang or some shit.
All I did was ask.
I get to some ghetto ass hotel and it smells like Chanel No. 5 in the room. I had to go buy a can of air freshener just to freshen it up. And then I'm zipping up my ruck the morning of selection and the zippers pop loose. So I have no drain holes in the one I was having. The pull handles ripped off of them. I mean, I finished, the chest strap broke on. I think I mentioned to you about the clip.
Yeah.
So I did.
Hey,
so,
you know what? Every other time you had the perfect setup.
Yeah.
That didn't work out for you.
No, and so this time I did. I love that. It was chaos. It was chaos at the highest level.
Figured out. You did that too.
Everything from my waist belt to my pack to my packing list, everything was a disaster.
Thank you, sir.
It was like every time I had to pick it up and mount on the front, I had to adjust that strap and waist belt. Military ACUs have like a little pocket where you can fold up and slide a little piece of neoprene in there. And I took them to the cleaner and was like, hey, you guys, or took them to the alteration. I was like, can you stitch those in there? And they were like, lasted the whole time. Never changed the pants.
That's a good idea.
Beautiful, especially for all that.
I took note of that. I
They
saw
were-
that. I was like, yeah, that's a pretty good.
Slick. So the boots, I not only wore those, I have 2 other pair of them, black suede, black leather, and I got my wife the black suede. That's how much I love. I wore Army boots for 8 years, combat deployments. I laced them bad boys up every day for almost a decade. If those boots existed when I was in the military, it's all I would have worn. They're so comfortable. I run in them, I ruck in them, I climb in them, I hunt in them. They're amazing.
Why'd you use a GR2? Why do you like that?
Because I can get all the crap in it. I can shove it in there and like that. But it's the smaller GR2. Like I got buddies that are bigger and they always rock the 40 liter. That's all you had back in the day.
Yeah.
And I still have my original one with the clips on the side, but I can't do events with it. It bangs on my tailbone. So I like the length of a GR1, but I like the ability of having an extra compartment on the outside for compartmentalizing things. I can shove all my main stuff in the other one, and then the other bag on the outside, I can rip it open. I know I have accessories at the top. I threw a couple of MREs in the middle, and closed up shop, and I'm able to organize better, a big compartment and a small compartment. So that's why I like that. Is it bigger? Yes. Do I look like a giant turtle shell on me? Yes. Am I that guy that's in there fighting with a GR1 or a Rucker?
I mean, to have everything go in the GR1, it's easy. Like I had no issues with that game.
Yeah.
Every time I shoved it in, stood up, no problem. It was so easy. As long as I practiced it too, but it's easier.
So this is
shove it in
basically you've catered your gear selection around the bag dump.
Yeah.
The initial stress.
That's what people do. Like James Vreeland, selection fitters. He goes like, keep your mouth shut on the Facey Space page when you're talking shit about people. Like people are gonna fail basic movements that you're like, why are these people can't do push-ups? So it's like that's what selection does to you. You literally can't do push-up. You're like, get in the plank position. I wish I could, bro. I really wish I could, man. My arms are just
You get
not.
you get a wet pack on your back. You try to hold the plank for any amount of time. Good for you.
I'm glad to know what this guy's background is. That he's having problems doing it. Because I'm a civilian. And I have problems doing that shit. So
I can
that
arch
makes me
in the
feel a lot
back and
better.
I can hold holding like a plank. Shoot.
Rich, what did we miss? What was high points from your
When,
perspective?
if you think back to everything that everybody said, it doesn't matter if you get a fucking patch. It doesn't matter if you're fucking complete. It's you learn about yourself. And you've learned about yourself. You've learned where your limits are. You've learned what you can get away with. You've learned what you can do. And you know that, and you build it in your head. And that's what lets you get to that point where everybody's talking to you in your head.
Mhm.
And it's like, no, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm beyond this. And so then you go to the next limit. And that next limit is a little old lady, 70 years old, telling you, quit it now and I'll give you a fucking cupcake. No, fuck no. I am beyond that. I'm going. And that's what you're learning. And that's what each of you has been really talking about throughout this whole conversation is learning yourself. And that's what that's what GoRuck's all about. It's about learning inside yourself. It's what the Army's all about. When you go to selection or any course in the Army, the Ranger course or wherever it might be, you're learning about yourself. You're learning that you can push your own limits and you can push beyond what the average person will do. Because everybody out there has got these limits set in their head. You know, I can eat so many marshmallows. I can do all this other stuff. And you find out you can eat 2 bags of marshmallows. Fuck it. I'm good. And it's learning about yourself, pushing yourself to that level. You guys have come to a great level in my respect for each one of you.
Thank you.
I'm glad we wear the same size pants.
You're damn right.
Yeah,
You're damn right you are.
I'd like to change
He ripped them
the
too, though.
highlight
Yeah.
of this whole thing for me is when we finally got my man a pair of pants.
Yeah.
It was magical. It
Yeah.
was magical. He had
I couldn't get the
his
zippers
business-
closed, and then
I
everything.
like the pirate.
You were the wiener man or something.
Yeah, I
I
had the
forget.
pirate look too. I cut the other leg off. And
Yeah.
I was like,
We're
man,
standing outside the CrossFit and you're talking about it and Jason's talking to you and you're like, well, maybe we can find you a pair of pants. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm going to give him a goddamn pair of pants.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.